Greetings everyone, House here. Hope you're having a good day. It's a pretty good one over here, all things considered. This is actually the third time I'm recording this. I recorded it once and was pretty sick, and then I recorded it a second time, and then Gun Interactive was going to have a live stream where they discussed some future updates for Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, so I held off on posting the video. And basically in that time decided I'm going to just re-record this again. So there's going to be minimal edits. I apologize if it's a little weird, and I'm still a little under the weather sinus-wise, so if I sound weird, I apologize for that. But let's go ahead and dive into the topic at hand today. Over break, like I said, I took my PlayStation home with me to my parents' house so I could be a degenerate and sit in their basement on their quote-unquote HD TV playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was supposed to be hanging out with family. Just because that's who I am now, I guess. In that time, I did notice an influx of players who were new to the game, it appeared at least. They were low level. They had maybe level 1, 2, 3 with the family members they were playing, and it was pretty evident they didn't have their perks leveled up. I also noticed a good number of new victim players as well. So it seemed like maybe some people got the game for Christmas, maybe some people were trying it out with friends since they were home. I know I was showing my family members the game, so it's possible that they were just all getting together to enjoy slaughtering people in deep South Texas together, or, you know, the true meaning of Christmas and the holidays. But what I did notice is that there were a lot of new players. And that really got me thinking as I was playing through the game and struggling because my teammates didn't know what the hell they were doing, or watching the victims completely fail at escaping the basement in most cases, let alone escaping the map. It really got me thinking. And it really got me thinking about the new player experience with the game. We've mentioned in the past before that a lot of people in the community seem to have issues with the new player experience. I think that as I was sitting there playing the game, thinking about what these players must be going through, it really struck me how difficult this game must be to get into. Like how obtuse everything is. With any game, there's going to be a learning curve, of course. You have to learn the maps, you have to learn the functionality of the different characters, the ins and outs of which perks are best, and the meta builds and stuff like that. But I feel like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, the way that perks are currently set up, the way that characters currently are in the meta and in the balance state that they're in, it is so punishing. So punishing if you play outside of the meta. And that just has to be brutal for new players. I kind of evolved on the channel a little bit. I try to highlight builds. I try to highlight builds that people can use. And in the beginning, I really wanted to try and go outside the box, stay away from completely meta builds. While yes, there are some perks that are clearly better, I wanted to try and highlight some builds that weren't just, this is objectively the best build on Cook. This is objectively the best build on Hitchhiker or Leatherface, whoever it may be. I wanted to kind of highlight alternatives to play. Part of the reason was these builds, these meta builds, are on every Texas Chainsaw Massacre game channel. You can find them easily. You can find them in almost every game you're in. And I wanted to offer something a little different. I wanted to offer kind of a variety and something to try out. Maybe if you're feeling like playing as family is getting stale, I wanted to offer that other kind of perspective. I played a lot of games that involve different perk builds and stuff like that, and I've always tried to eventually branch out, try unique builds, try different setups, maybe stuff outside the meta. Maybe it's not the most optimal. Maybe it's not playing in a way that's going to maximize your chances of winning every time, but it can be fun. It can be kind of something different, a refreshing breath of fresh air, you know, to the gameplay. So that's what I initially started trying to do with the channel, with our builds here. That's kind of how it eventually evolved. And then slowly but surely, I realized I have to kind of follow that meta. People don't necessarily want to see people play with these odd builds. A lot of times they just want to see, sure, what you're doing, but then they'll offer up, hey, this build's better. I have no problem trying out different builds that other people on the channel have and following their suggestions. And honestly, I've had a lot of fun playing viewer suggested builds. Those of you that have been following the videos know that my last video I posted was a hitchhiker game with a clearly very meta hitchhiker build. It is a really solid build. It is a build that I personally had never used because I stopped playing hitchhiker very early on in the game. I primarily focused on Cook and Leatherface, and then branched out to Sissy, Nancy, and came back around to hitchhiker, with a brief foray into Johnny sprinkled in there. One thing that I noticed with that build video is that a lot of people were rightfully so saying that this build isn't anything new. This is something we've known about for months, and it really got me thinking. That kind of feedback, not that it was bad or negative or I didn't appreciate it, because it's honest feedback. They're not saying anything wrong. These are builds that we have known about for a while. But that in conjunction with my observations over holiday break with these new players, it really got me thinking about the game. And when I really got thinking about the game, it really made me think about how I'm approaching things here on the channel. With Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's really two ways you kind of lean with your videos. Either you're staying up to date with the most up-to-date information and using the meta builds and showing high-level gameplay of those meta builds, which I clearly don't do. I don't have the time to be right on the cutting edge of playing, and I haven't even maxed out my account as many of the other Texas Chainsaw content creators have. You can see in most of my videos, I'm around, I believe, level 36 as of the time I'm recording this, just from playing in my free time. I'm not at level 99 yet. I don't have all the characters maxed out, so clearly I don't have the time right now to push for those high-level videos. The alternative, then, is making informative guides for people who are new to the game, people who don't understand what's happening. The issue I'm running into is, even though there's clearly new people trying the game, and there's clearly new people who don't necessarily know what they're doing in the game, the number of people searching for beginner guides or basic information on the game is very, very low right now. It's something that I've noticed when I was kind of looking around at other content creators in the sphere. It's not just my channel that's down on views, it's everybody across the board, whether or not they are a high-level player, they are making beginner guides, or even on the news side of things, keeping up to date with information that's coming out with the game. The way that the game's structured right now and the kind of content flow really limits that. So my options are making high-level builds, which I don't have the time to do right now, or the ability, if we're being completely honest. Making intro guides and beginner stuff for an audience that doesn't really exist, or keeping up to date with new information that isn't really coming out for the game. I gave Gun Interactive a shot yesterday when they did their live stream and tried to see if there was anything coming out. They do have changes coming. I personally don't feel like there's enough changes to things that are more pressing. I feel like a lot of the changes that they're making are addressing minor concerns, or they're making big sweeping changes that really seem to be getting a lot of backlash from the community. The victims specifically seem to be having a really hard time right now. The other side of things is we are getting new content. There will be new characters, new maps, new bundles to purchase. But that's all coming out over the course of the next 90 days. Not necessarily at that 90-day mark. It sounds like they're going to try and trickle stuff out slowly but surely over these 90 days, but I can't make update videos when there's no real updates to the game. And it's been a situation where maybe the audience for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game community isn't as interested in that information, and maybe I personally find myself in a situation where I'm not as excited about that new content as I have been in the past. I've always tried to stay positive on this channel. I do feel like this is a great game. I do enjoy it. I play it in my free time, not necessarily as much as some people, but with what little free time I have, I do enjoy playing the game. But right now, I feel like I'm kind of in a lull. I feel like I'm kind of in a period where I don't feel as driven to try meta builds or create builds that people don't necessarily want to see. So I'm kind of at an impasse in that regard. All of that is to say, I do still enjoy the game. I hope that they can figure stuff out, and I hope that they do find a good way to make an experience that caters to these new players and really helps them to learn the game so that we have fresh blood, pun intended, coming into the game and to the ecosystem. Them putting out a new player guide recently was a surprise to me, but it's a welcome one. I do think that that's important to have those kinds of resources out there, and tweeting that information out is important. But there are many things they can do to improve the general user experience, but especially the new user experience. So what does this all mean? I guess I'm kind of just rambling on, but essentially what it means is, for a little while at least, I'm going to be taking a break from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I do have some other ideas for videos that I want to try out that are going to be a little more involved on my end and take a little bit longer to produce. With the Texas Chainsaw videos, generally once I have some gameplay that I know is going to be fun to watch, I can produce a video in like a day or two once I have that footage and voiceover recorded. Even with my busy schedule with work and my family, it doesn't take me too long. This new project that I want to work on will definitely take a little longer than that. It's going to be a little more involved, and it will be something that's a little more narrative focused, I guess you could say. I always try to tell a story with my videos, even the live gameplay, but this is definitely going to be more focused on kind of a overarching narrative. And I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but it's something that I've been interested in making for a while, and something I think will be entertaining and might be something that you enjoy watching. If you do want to be involved in that, feel free to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, all the stupid YouTube stuff, so that when that video does go live, you are notified of it. I will also, on my Twitter account, or X, I guess as it's called now, keep people posted on that, just so that they know that something is eventually coming. If that is something that you're interested in seeing, I hope to see you when it comes out. It's something that I've been thinking about making for a while, and I just think that now is a good time for me to refocus, put my energy into that, at least for a little while. Now, does this mean I'm done with Texas Chainsaw Massacre game? I don't believe so. I think it's just a good time for me to kind of give it a little bit of a break, a little bit of breathing room while we wait for new content to come out and some patches to change stuff up. The new map looks great. I love the idea of having more verticality to the mill, so that will be a refreshing change. Of course, new survivor, new family members going to be something that comes out too and switches stuff up. I'll be here checking that stuff out. But at least for a little while, I want to try and refocus and put my energies into this other stuff. So hopefully that is something that you guys will enjoy. I want to thank you so much for all the love you've shown me over the past few months as we've taken this journey in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's been amazing. The community that I have interacted with has been nothing but amazing. You guys are honestly such a great group of people in terms of your feedback, in terms of having fun with me and giving me suggestions and ideas of things to try out. It really means more than you could know for me. I feel blessed to be able to have these fun conversations, have these in-depth conversations about the game that we all enjoy, and hopefully we can continue that just in a little bit of a different format. And it'll be a little bit different, it'll be a little bit weird, but we play weird games on this channel, and we make even weirder videos about them. So hopefully I will see you guys soon with that new stuff. If you do have any suggestions for anything you'd like to see on the channel, doesn't have to be Texas Chainsaw or anything like that, just anything you'd be interested in, I'd always love to hear that. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you do have some time and you'd like to like the video, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. And like we said, be sure you're subscribed and you have the lovely cheesy bell rung on YouTube so that hopefully they send you some notifications when I put up my new stuff. Thank you all so much for the love and support. It really means the world to me. And with that said, I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day, a good night, and good luck.